Hey guys, welcome back to MagiCorp. Here we are on the site of Magic Hut Industries, at least a temporary headquarters. Actually, I was thinking about it the other day, and it's kind of interesting. All of my resources I moved down into the basement here, so I'm literally running a company out of my basement. Other than, all the stuff that isn't in the basement. But anyway, as you can see, I've been a little busy. I've got a magical rainbow tree here from Chromaticraft, and that's the result of finding and harvesting a lot of Chromaticraft trees. And before you say, but Taco, you don't have the Chromaticraft license, I do have the harvesting license, which specifically says that I can harvest and cultivate, grow, and reharvest anything that spawns naturally. And that, to me, means it's inclusive of Chromaticraft trees, which has actually been helpful because it's allowed me to fill in a couple of blanks I've discovered, specifically with blue and white Chromaticraft trees. They drop not just dye, but they actually drop useful stuff. As you can see, I've got an experience bush here. I've been harvesting that quite a bit. I'm going to take a second right now to harvest that. And yeah, so another thing. So I was wondering how to get this thing to work at the end of the last session, and I did figure it out. You actually have to place it in the ground like this. I'm imagining that I could place it above the ground and then surround it with dirt and it would still work just fine. The problem with these are that they do not... I got a plane going overhead. That they do not automate. If you try to automate them, they just don't work. A hopper in the top, nothing inserts, and a hopper out the bottom actually pulls out the fruit bait. So my guess is that it's either a bug or intended, that this actually is considered an output slot. So unfortunately these can't be automated, which means I'll probably end up going with an automated cow farm for my leather. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But before we do anything else today, we've got some mail to do. And speaking of which, if we check my inventory here, I've got this little request board. And we're going to hit that before we actually check my mailbox. And the request board, I'm just going to go through it real quick. If you want to see what this actually says, you can pause it and check it out. It's nothing special, but basically what that board is asking for is for permission to use the RF Tools screens, because the wall of focus as it stands now, while it works, it does not work for my personal flow, for the way that I like to do things. It does not work very well at all. These clipboards are just not very good for walls of focus, and the reason they aren't very good is that it's very hard to reorder items, and I do things very, very stream of consciousness. Like when I think of something, I come over here and I put it on the board, and then I like to come back later, usually right before I do recording, and reorganize everything, swap items around, change the order, make sure that things are in progression order. And I try to do that a little bit with the boards at first, but they're just so clunky for that, because you got to completely delete a line or a line in anything below it and then reorder, and it's just, yeah. Whereas the RF Tools, you just got those text modules which you can switch around and pull out and just reorder however you want, which is a lot nicer. So it is a bit of technology, I'll freely admit that, but it's one of those things where it's not going to touch product. It doesn't really do anything other than make it easy to organize my thoughts and to organize the episodes. So I'm thinking I'll be okay there. So that's basically what that board says. So we're going to drop that in the mailbox and hope that they give me the okay on that. So let's see what we got in our mail. We've got a payment, which is good. I did finish both of my contracts. I got the what were they? There was the mana steel ingots, which I showed you, I think, in the last session. And I also had that one for the Nightshade, which I also got done. So that was 100 Nightshade. That was me standing by an apothecary for longer than I should have. This is licenses. I'm assuming that's the licenses that I purchased. A license update. Okay. We got some contracts. Another contract for Mana Steel. That shouldn't be surprising. It's a pretty big product out there. And incense plates. What on earth is that? We're going to drop my clipboard in there, and that should ship out. So let's see what my payment is. Oop. So for payment, I received 10k Infinibux block and 1k Infinibux ingots. So that's a total payment of 15,000 Infinibux, which I'm pretty sure that's what was owed me. I'll have to go look back and make sure that I got everything there. But that sounds right. 15,000, that's what I was owed? I think so. So good, that's my payment. So let's check out my licenses. 10k, 60 full stack of 64 debt. 6410K debt. So that's 640 debt. Unfortunately, I should have expected that because I did expect that because I'm getting these licenses on the debt plan, on the loan system. And there's a clipboard with the word licenses written on it. Okay. So I've got my new enhanced inventories license and my storage drawers license. That's pretty huge because my item systems are getting out of hand in that I've got these 3 chests which are all completely full. I've got this kind of Thaumcraft chest over here which is mostly filled with bone meal for whatever reason. And then this chest over here which is salt, a bunch of tofu and stuff, and then everything else is in these chests. And I've started, of course, filling up my personal backpack. And you can see I've been a little bit busy on the essence berry bush. So yeah, I am... my item system is in desperate need of revamping, and having the advanced inventories and the advanced... Where's my license satchel? I want to put these licenses in there. I'm going to have to find a better system for keeping track of my licenses than just this satchel, but for now it's going to be okay. So we'll put that... See, I can't even... What did I grab it out? Which one of these did I grab this out of? This one. Okay. Okay, license update, licenses. Let's see what Mr. Collinsworth has to say. Mr. Mage, as per your request, I have enclosed both the enhanced inventories and storage store licenses. As your account currently has a negative balance, but does have approved credit available, I've included the debt. Please place the solid debt into your account tracking system. All right, well, let's run over to that account tracking system real quick and put in my debt and my payment. Okay, so I presume I'm just going to put this all in the solid deposits here. So let's put in the debt and the Infinibucks. And hopefully this will start updating. Oh, total paid 5,000, so... Oh, and the debt's went up to 3. I guess there's some sort of timing. Yeah, it looks like there's some sort of processing that's going on. We can check back with that later, but it does look like it's going to work. Alrighty, so that's all the licenses and stuff taken care of. That's, again, pretty big, especially the storage drawers. The storage drawers is going to let me do some pretty important stuff. In fact, we might as well build one right after we're done with the mailbox check, actually. But first, so I got a couple of spare clipboards out of this deal. A license update. Let's see what that's about. This might be in reference to Dear Mr. Mage. Okay, this must be not Mr. Collinsworth. We at Taco Hut Licensing Divisions have reviewed your request for license updates. Aha, yes. Off camera, I asked Taco Hut Incorporated, and specifically their licensing division, about a couple of things. One was Ganny's Surfaces. Ganny's is a kind of low-end, I consider mundane mod, so I asked them to include it in the mundane pack since there was no mention of it anywhere in the licenses, and other than a couple of blocks, it's pretty good. And then I also asked them about tracks and stuff, because a lot of the Magic mods actually use rail systems, but we've got Railcraft installed, so that means the entire rail system is hidden behind Railcraft. I can't just make a standard Minecraft rail system, so we'll have to see what they say. But anyway, per your concerns, we have added Railcraft wooden tracks, coke ovens, coke, creosote, and wooden ties to the mundane items license. Oh, good. So I'll be able to use at least wooden tracks, which is better than nothing, but it's not as good as regular tracks. As such, they are available for you to use immediately. Good. We are currently assessing license options for a new Railcraft license, but have to consider which blocks it would allow. We will keep you informed of changes as they happen. Yeah, I'm really hoping, because the Railcraft stuff is all hidden behind an RF machine, or I should say a machine that uses RF, which is, I believe, the presser or the roller, which makes the track metal that goes on the ties. So hopefully that will get approved, because that would take me up to at least regular Minecraft level. It's actually very useful for Botania, especially because they have a kind of a rail mana system which you can use, which is good for moving large amounts of mana. Finally, we have approved the addition of Ganny's mods to the mundane pack, with the exception of the planter, farm manager, chest propellant, organic matter compressor, and dislocators. Alright, cool, so I can use Ganny stuff. That's not the biggest thing, but it is kind of important. I had actually used a couple of Ganny's things before I realized that, hey, it's actually not covered in the licenses, so that kind of covers my butt there. There are a couple other things I want to use from Ganny, so that definitely opens it up. Good luck out there, Taco Hut Licensing. Good. So, that's some very important pieces of clarification for me. and hopefully they'll get there on that Railcraft license, but we'll see. So, we've got a contract for incense plates. Client is the Merlin Chop Bar and Grill. Huh. Okay. And they want 100 incense plates for a payment of 6,200 Infinibucks. Okay. We'll put this up here, and then we're going to figure out what the heck an incense plate is. Incense plate. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, it's not there, but it is. Okay. Ooh, so it's basically 2 pieces of living wood per plate, so I'm going to need 200 living wood. Might be worth building an automated living wood system for that. Otherwise, I can do that, I guess, manually to a certain extent. That's not too bad. How much is it? 100? So that's only about a stack and a half. That's not terrible. Stack and a half, well, it'll be 3 stacks, essentially. But that's not too bad. Okay, so I can knock those out pretty easy. And what's the other one? It's client Camelot Window and Furnace. Huh. 8x Mana Steel block for 18,100 Infinibucks. Ooh, that's a big contract. Definitely glad to see that. All right. In fact, I might be able to knock that one out right away because I've been manning my plants, and oh yes, I've got lots of blocks. So that was 8. I betcha I've got enough. So before we get into what we're going to do today, let's do a little bit of updates of what I've done. As you can see, I've filled in some of my lake over here. I did that because I wanted more room. I wanted more room specifically to expand my farm, but mostly for Botania. So yeah, I've done that. Cow farms as it was. I changed up my farming though. As you can see, I've got industrial hemp again. Industrial hemp is something that I acquired naturally as World Gen and came out of grass, so I'm allowed to grow it. And I did that so I have a source of string. I didn't want to raise sheep because sheep are noisy. All animals are noisy, but sheep just for, yeah. Anyway, soybeans, I got that going. That's going to be a good food, or meat alternative and milk alternative, so soybeans are always a good thing to do from Pam's Harvest Craft. And then, of course, wheat, and then, as you can see, melons and pumpkins. So yeah, my farm's really coming together, and I think I found a good workaround that keeps plants growing without them getting stuck. They've been working really well recently because of the thing I did, so looks like that's a bug that I managed to sidestep. Over here, as you can see, I added a whole bunch more Endoflames, and I've now got 2 mana spreaders because this is actually too many Endoflames to work just 1 mana spreader. It actually saturates, so we got 2 of them in there, and I put a mana distributor in here in order to hold more mana. So while we're over here, let's just dump this block iron in there. Excellent. All right, so that's pretty much 1 contract taken care of right away. So let's go bag that up and then dump that right into the mail. That's awesome. I'm glad that worked out perfectly. So that's this one here, 8 times Mana Steel. So we'll just grab a random bag here and rename this. What is this called? Mana Steel Shipment. Okay. So there's the Mana Steel Shipment, and we need to let's put that Mana Steel contract in there with the Mana Steel. Good. Excellent. So we can actually put that right back into the mailbag right away. The incense plates, I don't have enough wood for right off the top of my head, but that'll be easy enough. I don't think I even have to show that to you guys, really. These are just random clipboards, so let's just dump those in my backpack. So, what are we going to be doing today? So, before anything, let's see if I got any wood here. I do have a little bit, but it's amaranth. I don't think that actually works for what I need to do, but let's check it. The first thing I want to do is build myself a quick storage drawer. Specifically, oh, it looks like it might work. It's got Maho. Okay. And that's planks around a chest, so that should be pretty easy. Hopefully it'll work with this this amaranth wood that I found. So I'm going to need, like, a bunch. So, like, yay for a chest. And then put the chest in the middle here, and then 2 lines. Oh, good, it does work. This is probably not going to look so great because of the difference in texture back. So we're going to put this actually right over here. And then we are going to take, if I can open it, I'm going to take all these ore berries. And in fact, I can't even fit them all. take all those ore berries and just pop them right on in there. And that's basically what I want these storage drawers for. That's why it was so important, is because I wanted to be able to just take large things like the, or I should say large stack items like the essence berries and put them in there. So that's going to be pretty huge. That's yeah. That's a big one. I mean, normally you use Jab or something. We'll just put this back in there for now. But that's going to be a big thing for sorting out things like all of my ore berry bushes and then ingots as I make more of those. In fact, I hope to, before too much longer, start to automate some of that stuff. So what are we doing today? I know it's been a pretty long intro. And yeah, so what are we doing today? Well, what we need to do is a couple of things. The first thing, let's head over here. Unfortunately, it's all out of order because it's all jumbled because I am lazy. Oh, I forgot I was going to point to this thing. The Nullified Industries Null Mail Network. So Nullified Industries is the company of the server host, NullifiedGaming, and I guess this is their mail system. Honestly, I think I'd have a hard time deciding which mailbox is uglier. I think I'm going to end up replacing the mailbox over here with something prettier. But neither of these are particularly attractive. But anyway, back to what are we doing today? Well, the first thing that we need to do, and I'm trying to find it real quick, is to make a blaze enclosure. So what is a blaze enclosure? Well, one of the things that sorry about that glitchiness. One of the things that Botania does, I think 16 will be enough. Maybe. Let's see. No, 16 is not going to be enough. We're going to need 32. Let's put that back up in there. One of the things that Botania does is make it so that, one, you can create blazes, and two, you can keep them and have them drop bits of blaze dust or blaze powder. We're just going to get some mana glass here. So we need to find a spot that we can make a blaze enclosure. So, because what we're going to do is we're going to make some blazes and then keep them all penned up and then put something nearby them to collect their drops. So I'm going to clear a little space here, and we're just going to build a little blaze enclosure. We're just going to put it by the cows because, well, cows love blaze, as you all well know. So it's definitely something that they want to be near each other. Might as well do a little bit of time lapse on this. It's not going to be exciting or anything, but you know, might as well. And I also need to grab a little bit of stone, living stone, because that's what I wanted to do was living stone and mana glass for this build. So give me a little bit of time to set up a time lapse. Well, it'll be 0 time for you, and we'll see how this thing goes. And I'll catch you after the time lapse. Alright, well, it's not very nice looking. I can totally see that. Not really sure what else I need to do. I'll probably mess with it a little bit off screen. I think part of the problem was that I totally ran out of living rock, and it needs a little bit more. A couple of like arches, and I think the floor needs to come out at least one more brick. But otherwise, I think that's good enough for now. It's at least going to let us get started. So what are we going to do here? So as you can see, I left an open hole right here. And basically what we need to do is create a way to make a blaze and then get it in there. And in order to make a blaze, what we need to do is make some fell pumpkins and then some iron bars. Not iron ingots, but the iron bars that are like the fencing, the metal fencing. Just like making a snow golem, you place 2 iron bars and then top it with a fell pumpkin, and it becomes a blaze. So what I want to be able to do is also have these blazes stay loaded. and that's going to require that they be named. So I need to create an area where I can create the blaze, name it, and then have it put into this containment unit, and hopefully have it so that it doesn't do too much damage to me while that happens. So we're going to take the last little bit of this mana glass, and I'm probably going to need a little bit more. In fact, I think maybe, yeah, right there. I think maybe not using mana glass for this, because it'd be a bit easier if I could actually see this. So let's use regular glass for now. I may come back and do it with mana glass. But for now, I'm thinking regular glass would be okay. Because regular glass, oddly enough, because it's got the framing, is easier to see. So let's just grab the regular glass. And then I'm also going to need to make... I'm thinking I can do this with some pistons. So we're going to need redstone. We're definitely going to need iron blocks. I also have to make an anvil, some iron ingots. I'm going to need some wood, which, amazingly, I don't have any wood because I've turned it all into charcoal. So give me a real quick moment. I'm going to have to gather some more things, too, like some cobblestone stuff. So give me a moment, and I'll gather all my stuff together, and then we can actually get to work.